This is the one true, I'm the Gamer Boss Bronze.
This is the informational Emperor True Backlash.
And the First Lady of Media, Blue.
Coming to you with another movie review of Entourage, the movie. Even though it's not called Entourage, the movie.
It's like trying to compare the Street Fighter movie when it's just called Street Fighter to the Street Fighter game series, which the one they were referring to is Street Fighter 2, but technically had a game called Street Fighter. That's why they call it Street Fighter movie, unofficially Street Fighter the movie, the game, or as the Japanese call it, Street Fighter Real Battle on film. But I digress.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Do you know how long I had to keep her from doing that for the whole ride home? She was just ready to pop. And would not just say that, but, just spoiling it and talking about it. And I have a no talking about movie rule until we get to the place where we do the recording and record it. So, since you guys have so much to say, I'll let you guys say it.
Well, so just before the plot, we can...
No, the plot first, as always.
Okay, so the last time we left our Entourage gang, Vince Chase was star actor Vince Chase is getting married to his girlfriend he met for 2 days, Sophia, and
which I still don't get. I mean, wow.
Eric is making moves to hook up with his longtime sweetie Sloane, and Turtle seems to have been doing well in the tequila business, and Ari Gold decides to retire.
Now that's all in season 8.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2011.
2011, folks. It's been that long.
This movie at least the initial part of this movie, the very first scene, won't spoil too much about the first scene except for what I am going to spoil. It takes place around 2011, so don't expect this movie to catch up with the hip kids right now, okay?
Honestly, that's what I thought was going to happen.
But anyway, less than a month later, Vince divorced his wife. They didn't last 9 days.
Actually, they divorced first, then less than a month later.
Less than a month later.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for the Entourage gang for the most part. Vince is divorced. His marriage didn't work out. Eric is separated from Sloan, meaning they could both field the bases. And Johnny Drama's still the butt monkey as always, never taken seriously. Well, but Turtle's a freaking millionaire. His tequila business is a success.
His tequila business is a success, and I know this is definitely a spoiler, but all of a sudden E is getting more stuff than he ever got in his little life.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of him being separated from Sloane. But none of that matters because Vince realized that, Vince realized that the marriage was a mistake, and he just wants to get back to what he loves doing, and that's making movies. So the next movie he wants to direct, and he had to bring Ari out of retirement to help do it.
That possibly can't go wrong.
Yep. So 8 months later, we are watching an extended episode of Entourage, which, hey, I have no problem with.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, but more on the details later.
So, subplots include Vince. The movie is finished at this point 8 months later. So, Vince wants to finish his final cut before Ari can see it. Ari wants to see it because he has to deal with this rich Texan family, the patriarch Billy Bob Thornton, and a surprisingly well done character played by Haley Joel Osment.
Oh, is that who that was?
That was Haley Joel Osment.
Wow.
I see dead people.
Wow.
Was that the kid from the Jeff Foxworthy show?
Wow. He really looks different.
I know. Either he's a really good actor or he really let himself go.
Well, he really let himself go first. He's lost a lot of weight since then. But anyway.
Like I'm one to talk, by the way.
Yeah. So they have to wrestle with these guys, which doesn't make it not WWE stuff, but wrestle with these guys, but which really doesn't help when Vince goes over budget. Mr. Director, everyone. What else happens?
What do we expect from Vince anyway? Yeah. He's a good kid, but he's short-sighted.
Yep, see,
to say the least.
Eric's dealing with women's problems because this squirrel's got a lot of nuts lately, and he doesn't know what to do with them all.
Yeah, no thanks to drama. You'll see why in the movie.
Yep, Sloane's pregnant, so that's another thing he has to deal with. Johnny's in the movie, and he's trying to resurrect his butt monkey life and a career, and that way, so he's still being supportive. And Turtle, he meets UFC star Ronda Rousey. So just like Meadow Soprano from the seasons long past, that's his girlfriend for the week. And hilarity ensues there, and love ensues there too. And Lloyd's get some character development too. And there's a lot of cameos of Entourage characters and celebrities alike. So many that it's almost hard to count. There, I'm done.
Well, as plots go, you are exactly right, Backlash. It is indeed, of fact, the longest episode of Entourage ever. And you know what? That's a very good thing. It was definitely, we haven't seen Entourage in a very long time since Blue banned it forever after that one chick was starting to write for it, and, it was Zod awful. But you know what? We is glad it was back to form in season 8, and the movie is also back to form. I knew I wasn't going to stay retired. I knew Vince marrying that British tabloid chick was a bad idea. She was so snotty, it was unbelievable. And I had a feeling that drama show, Johnny Bananas, was it called?
Yeah, Johnny Bananas, the cartoon show.
Yeah, it wasn't going to last very long. Even though, heck, I would have saw that, right now, in fact. Plot-wise go, it was definitely well written. It was still the Entourage, the show, the movie, from beginning to end. They didn't kowtow. They didn't adjust for this new PC audience. It was pure themselves, and I loved it. Blue?
I couldn't agree more. This is definitely the boys are back. If you guys are Entourage lovers from season 1 all through season 8, you will find that this movie picked right up where season 8 left off, didn't miss not one detail, which I really like that. And then those of you who are not Entourage followers all long-standing, if you go, you will still find that the movie is thoroughly entertaining, and I think you'll want to go back to your on-demand or your HBO Go, and you'll try to catch up on all those old episodes just because you will have enjoyed this movie a lot. I find that the nice thing about the movie, it didn't disappoint in any way. You felt that you really are welcoming old friends that you had missed, and you're just catching up on hey, where you been and what you been doing. And even the style of the way the movie was shot was the same style in which the series has been based. Pretty fast paced. You get to see a lot of fun. You get to feel like you're partaking in all of the fun, and all the characters. So it was one of those kind of feel good movies. Definitely a guy flick, but girls will love it too.
All right, let's move on to the characters, as if we didn't talk about that enough already. Ari's back, Vince is back, E's back, Turtle's back, Johnny's definitely back, and the other assortment of characters are also back. But let me tell you something else, who else is back. Almost every single star they ever invited on the show, ever, plus 10 more. I mean, seriously, we saw Bob Saget, Andrew Dice Clay, who else?
Mark Wahlberg and gang.
Yeah, he had an extra long cameo for some unknown reason. I just don't know why. I mean, what does he got to do with Entourage?
Right. I mean, for those of you who already don't know.
Haley Joel Osment as some Texas guy. Billy Bob Thornton as the bigger Texas guy.
And then Jessica Alba, which that was probably the only plot line, semi-spoilers, that didn't get resolved in the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rousey, as you mentioned.
And they weren't cast as such, but they weren't cast under their names or as members of this, but Ronda Rousey's Entourage, but the 4 horsewomen.
Right. And how
Did
about
you see
Scarlett
that?
Johansson?
I didn't see that.
Oh, they were right there in the gym. That was right before
I thought those were dudes.
No, you didn't see. You're thinking of a different scene.
Yeah.
Because these chicks definitely did not look like dudes.
Okay.
I grant you they definitely looked like they were in shape, but so not dudes.
I must have missed something.
When the Entourage Prime walked into the gym, the 4 horsemen women walked over with Ronda Rousey.
Right. And they were right behind her, but she probably commanded so much of a presence on the screen,
I guess,
that you really didn't notice the 4 really tall, big girls behind her.
Maybe I was wrong. I did see one dude train her, helping her fight.
Well, yeah.
How did I miss the rest of it? I don't know.
This is before the fight, right before that fight scene. But
then,
we'll have to go see it again then.
Let's not forget Ed O'Neill, Modern Family, Married with Children's Ed O'Neill, and Married with Children and The Legend of Korra's David Faustino.
How about that?
Which honest trailers, you can eat it.
And Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer.
How about Scarlett Johansson? Who even knew?
Where was Scarlett Johansson?
What? Really? Oh wait, you know what? I stand corrected. That must have been at
Jessica Alba.
No, I think Scarlett Johansson was at season 8, like episode whatever. 8. I think she was in the last episode.
We're putting it stars that weren't there. However, if you want to go Avengers, they mentioned Avengers. And Jon Favreau was in the movie. Johnny was trying to hit him up to get a movie part, you know.
Oh yeah. I think the movie, in terms of getting screen time, usually when movies have that many cameos, it dilutes the actual effect of the cameo performance because it's just too many. But the movie, the writing was well done. It handled all of those cameos and they fit right in. I mean, just their quick little entrance and exit, or maybe their reoccurrence and their sporadic pop-ups throughout the movie, they just added flavor and essence to the characters and to the movies. Honestly, I thought it was a great ad.
It was a great ad. They all did their parts well. They did seem realistic. They didn't seem Hollywood at all. Though, I have to admit, as much as Hollywood is Hollywood, and they definitely have a bad reputation, I cannot believe every single one of them has potty mouths as much as they do.
Woo!
I mean, I knew about Bob Saget for a long time, and goodness grief, that really surprised me when I heard him just spouting out like the 7 words you can't say on film until you go into the 2000s when anyone can say it on film. But everyone just had like an F-bomb or an S-bomb, or combine those into bigger bombs.
Oh yeah,
it's a movie based off an HBO show. You can't be but so surprised.
I truly understand that, but it still surprised me to a certain extent.
This is not a movie you will bring the kids.
Don't bring the kids.
But you will enjoy it when you come. This will be one where the kiddies will stay at home, or you could take them to a movie with the older siblings at one of the cartoony type movies for them, but this is definitely one that you'll enjoy. This is a date night movie, lots of fun, and like you mentioned, Lloyd, the character, he didn't get a lot of screen time, but he was funny. I really like Lloyd because he's a funny guy. He keeps you in stitches.
He like through this movie, he was like the wise Asian guy giving Ari Gold advice on how to solve his problems.
And and Ari didn't even like that he was right. He freaked out like, ah!
And Ari Gold, honestly, he is definitely worth seeing. If you guys don't know Ari, it's just worth it just to go and see him do him.
If they had a spin-off show of just him, I'd probably watch that too.
I probably would watch that too, but I really like the way that he interacts with the whole entourage, even though he's not truly part of Vince's entourage. He's so much a part of Vince and all the other guys that he's like that necessary balance for extreme. Like one's extremely this way, really mellow, laid back, bunch of fun. And this other one hyper intense and just.
You know what? I heard some people and on IMDb complaining that Ari was calm in this movie. I was like, I hate the calm Ari.
Really?
It's like, wow.
I'm sorry, that's so not the calm Ari I saw.
No. You want to see Ari go punch a kitten? Watch the movie.
No, and I think too, it's just so neat that these folks came on board with these writers of the show to come on back. It was just such a neat thing because you have a lot of egos.
Oh yeah,
well,
right?
Doug Ellen wasn't messing around. He co-storyboarded the movie, he co-produced the movie, he directed the movie, and he wrote the movie.
And he says how painful that is for him to do.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He said that's a painful process because I guess he's so enveloped in the whole process and he wants it to be so cohesive and good each episode that it's very painful for him. He puts out such good work. You're right. You're absolutely right, Backlash.
I could definitely see that because it's written so well. And trust me, as a writer myself, I know how difficult it is. Half the articles I know, it takes me hours to formulate into something that I think is good enough. Then I have Blue read it just to make sure I'm not crazy.
And then when I read it and I find, oh, this is so awesome. And then Bronze will say, can you believe I was just hours writing that little bit? And I'm like, that's just awesome. That what you wrote is just perfect.
Yeah, so I can definitely understand how, writing something that good would take a lot out of you. Good grief.
One more star cameo before we move on that you might not have recognized because we didn't watch the show that Johnny Drama was referencing. He did. But Richard Schiff, he was in that movie.
Which one played Richard Schiff?
He was the guy that Johnny was auditioning for. Slight spoilers, people, sorry. But me and Boss Brunch would know him from Burn Notice. He was the guy that got popped in the first season. Also, spoiler, as part of the Bird Spies Network.
Interesting.
He was in a lot of other things we would know. But yeah, Richard Schiff.
How do you spell his last name?
Like that one guy we know with the company. SH.
Yeah, I think they're related, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
I think so. Cool.
Wow. How about that?
Hey, if that's the same guy, I think he's the same guy that had some integral part to play in back in the day that horror movie Night of the Living Dead. Way back in the day, if that's the same one. I'm not sure, but it sounds like it could be.
Alright, so let's move on to the goods of the movie. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll jump right in on this because there's so many goods I have. I mean, I actually
Please unleash.
One of those folks who happen to love Entourage, the story. I think that the series has been a big hit for me, and I've enjoyed the guys. I actually do feel like I know each and every one of their quirks and their nuances. So it was a big thrill for me to see that the form was not, the whole process was the same, and these folks came out. I knew what to expect, and they delivered. So I love that. I love the fact that they had Mark Wahlberg and his, I don't know if that's his original entourage that was with him in the movie, but they certainly made a presence more than one occasion. And that was refreshing, too, because it's almost like paying homage back to, where they took the storyline from. And then I also liked the cars. The cars were hardcore. I mean, if you like cars, okay, you're going to love the movie because they had some really sweet rides in the cars. I love that. And, there was a little bit of, good-looking beefcake in the movie. But for you guys, man, you're going to get your share of women. So overall, I thought the movie for me, I loved all the little nuances that made it real, made it entourage, kept it fresh, and it didn't end in a way that made it final, and I liked that too.
Well, go ahead. Go, Bronze.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was definitely a great movie to series, and if it ended today in the movie, I'd be satisfied, more or less. I can't really, elaborate more on how good because Blue did it so very well. And again, all the stars were great to see. I mean, yeah, it's sort of like reverse Expendables, but not in a bad way. Instead of just awesome action stars you've seen since the glory days of movies, it's just regular stars just hanging out, shooting the breeze, drinking, cussing. It was good, and I'm glad to have seen it because, stars are stars, but they're people too, with their own problems. And a lot of people who don't like Entourage don't seem to understand that part. Like, they may have money, but they also have, difficulties. They don't know if this role will be the last role, what really meaningful thing they're going to leave upon the world, etc., etc. And, I would love to have $1 million to drop. But, the kind of pressure they go through on a daily basis, I think I may pass. Because I like to live a semi-normal life without so much of a, always chasing that carrot. And they chase that carrot a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Well, I gotta say this. Entourage isn't without its problems in terms of the show. There's a lot of things that were written in the show that kind of sucked and didn't make sense, especially in its later years. That's when that Fonzie with his skis jumped the shark. Hey. But here's what I like. I don't like when a movie feels like they need to reboot everything 0.8 milliseconds after the movie's been done so they can leave their own freaking legacy. And more to the point, like with what X-Men is doing, I don't like when they retcon everything like comic books do. I love superhero movies to death, but they do this so terribly all the time. They retcon everything so it could fit another person's vision. They can't leave well enough alone, and that annoys me to no end. Why is this all part of a good? Because even some of the stupid things that have happened in Entourage, and controversial things in Entourage, yes, they did get changed. Yes, Sophia was barely brought up as Vince's baby mama, although Armie Hammer, if you see that movie, connect Sophia with Armie Hammer, okay? But, it wasn't all taken away.
That part I didn't understand. It never concluded at the end, did it?
Yep.
A little confusing.
No.
The tequila thing with Turtle in the show was some of the most dumbest stuff I've ever seen, especially when he was making progress beforehand, a season before. But it worked out for him. He stayed rich, and like I said, Johnny was still a butt monkey. Eric was going through his personal crisis. Vince's marriage was crap. Turtle was okay. And you know what? Someone brought this up on a trope on TV Tropes. Turtle is still driving Vince's cars. He does not need to do that.
No, but I think that helps to solidify the relationship.
And I love that part.
Yes. You're absolutely
he's
right.
He's not some rich snob. He's kind of, in a way, he used to be kind of a butt monkey, like Drama, not anymore. Well, in the movie, he's kind of is for circumstances. Yeah, but
more or less.
Ultimately, he's now like Vince. He has that zen about him where he's not going to be a stuck-up snob. He came from nothing. He has everything, and what does he want to do? He wants to hang out with hot women, to party with all of them, but he'd rather hang out with Drama and Vince and Eric than anything else. And I love that. They didn't just get rid of everything, ignore everything. They didn't even ignore Ari's retirement. And, I just like... Again, it was a long episode of Entourage, but they made the continuity count. They just didn't push it aside. They made it important to the movie, and I respect that. And even a movie like Rocky Balboa, you can argue they ignored Rocky V, which apparently they referenced in the movie, but you could say they can ignore Rocky V. You can't say that this movie ignored the later stuff in Entourage, and I appreciate their commitment, and I know I'm going along, so I'll bridge the rest of this. I like how the characters stayed true to themselves, especially Turtle, but with everyone else, it was pretty simple. I liked how they tried to get as many characters in it as they could. They had that fake rapper Saigon they put in the movie for a couple cameos. They had a couple other actors who played characters, had cameos. Again, they brought in the celebrities playing themselves, making cameos. And I'm happy that they brought Dana Gordon and gave her credit in the intro, where she was the only member of the main cast. And this was more of later seasons, too. But she was on Entourage for a very long time. And she got to get in the main credits with Mrs. Ari and Lloyd and the boys. And that made me smile. And Sloane too. She got her credits too, but Sloane was a big part of Entourage too. But I think, it's a little weird seeing this movie in summer, but it was a good movie nonetheless.
And one final good thing, black people!
Oh yeah, they had some black people, folks.
Holy crap.
They had some black people in the very early part of Entourage. They were all background folks. But now, there was a lot more of us that had speaking parts.
I know, right? What the heck?
Again, Saigon had a cameo. Common had a cameo. He didn't speak, but he had a cameo. Pharrell had a cameo.
Tons of people. And at the same time, even from the very beginning, they always had a lot of great hip-hop music that they played in the background. So even though there weren't any real speaking roles that they had, there was always that presence, that soulful presence that wrapped around, the whole, show. But now we were actually there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we made it to the party.
I know. Even one was Ari's assistant.
How about that?
So I definitely
Oh
like
yeah, that assistant. I like that guy.
Yeah.
He was like straight Lloyd,
Yeah.
just as competent too.
So, unfortunately, guys, we now have to turn to the bad side of the coin.
Well-
What do you guys got for me?
Let me do it. First things first. I'm disappointed in Billy. I know people. That was one of the later Entourage things. Again, shark jumping, but I liked when Billy was sober. At least his characterization wasn't as good, but at least he showed he was trying. Now he's just back on the wagon.
He's only sober like 5% of the time in his whole existence in Entourage.
Is that the guy who keeps calling E a suit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's their director friend. Let's see what else. I kind of thought, again, the Jessica Alba thing. I won't spoil too much about that. That very, very brief cameo went nowhere. I wanted to see if insert person she was talking to here was going to act on what they promised her. And the whole E's whole subplot, it really just went nowhere, didn't it? It's like, I mean, the second part of it, the more important part of it, it felt right. Because in the end, nothing mattered at that point. But the first part of it, it's like, oh, we thought you were this kind of way, Eric, but now we think you're this kind of way. We're going to teach you a lesson. And he's like, okay. The end. It's like, ugh.
But, at the same time, you're right. Those are questions that, I've often asked, like, with all that goes on. My goodness, you're very fortunate you haven't at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say too much, of course.
Yeah, but other than that, this is a big nitpick. It's season of summer blockbusters and outland something. You want something special. Maybe not Transformers. Maybe not something dealing with Marvel or DC. But maybe a little bit more showmanship or a little bit more comedy. This is a long episode of Entourage. And you know what? I'm okay with it. It just felt out of place.
It's interesting. Well, for me, I really don't have very much to say in the sense of things that I didn't like. But, my big thing is I don't like the character that plays that producer, the one that calls E-Suit. I don't like him. I just
That
don't.
guy, you never liked him?
Just don't like him. I never liked him when he was doing the Medellin thing. I don't like him now. But he, I guess, has a role. There's some substance there. I guess he plays, and I guess in everybody's life there are some people like that, I suppose, but wasn't really crazy about that character. But other than that, I think overall, I thought everything was pretty good. There were, I guess, probably a lot of gratuitous nudity
Yeah.
that didn't necessarily have a function besides, eye candy for some people.
Just
but,
HBO.
But other than that, it is HBO, so, that's how that works. But beyond that, I think everything else was pretty much really spot on for me. So yeah, you could tell I'm groping right now, so I'll hand it over to Boss Bronze because I really can't think of anything else that I really didn't like.
Again, Blue, you're right on the money. This movie was done to perfect form for Entourage, so I really have nothing to add to it in the way of, negative qualities. I could probably find one, but I'm really grasping at straws. I guess my only criticism is just on a purely personal level, and it's about the guys themselves. And again, it's not a slight against the movie, it's just a slight against the series in general, is that they are a very all-or-nothing kind of guys, A lot of the stuff they put themselves through would not happen if they just used or exercised the smallest common sense. In the plot... and this is not a spoiler, I don't think. They go over budget, and they could have not done that because if they worked with Ari, they could have made some, concessions and worked something out. Ari is not a poor man; he's a rich man, and he's also a smart man. Certain things like listening to your boys, although always a good thing, you got to use your own intelligence and don't just necessarily take their advice. Otherwise, in the movie, certain gentlemen would not have gotten somewhat harmed in it. I won't say who and how, but it happened because he should have stuck to his guns. And
there's a lot of that going around. I think each one of them has a moment like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you said that Ari being smart, and this might have been something that he said so fast in some prior episodes on the show. He is smart. He actually graduated from Harvard, and he has a JD with an MBA from, I think it's Connecticut. I forget exactly what, Massachusetts. I forget what school he went to, but just the fact that he went to Harvard for his undergrad, and he has like a JD, which is a law degree, and an MBA. So yeah, he's a smart guy.
Even though, like the rest of them, Ari can go. It's emotionally driven. He doesn't use that intelligence unless he's under the gun, and even then, that doesn't always work half the time. But hey, you know what? That's what makes the show. And, you know, that's what makes them entertaining to watch, because they don't necessarily do the smart thing. They do things their way. And for good or bad, it's what they do. Like
And
most
sometimes people would love to do the things the way they do it, but because we live in the real world, we're not going to do
Yeah,
it.
seriously. I like to watch drama, but I don't want it in my own life.
No.
No, so I'll play it safe.
I could just say, what the heck with everybody, and just go through life saying, screw you. But the real world is here. That's not happening.
Yeah, not happen 100%.
No.
But other than that, I guess the only other thing is the bad thing is the ending. It was too open-ended. I wanted to have some conclusions. If Blue's right and they re-established the show after a 4-year hiatus, great. I'd be more than happy to watch it. But if not, I wanted to see what they did, how they end up, you know, what legacy left behind, etc., etc.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because unlike Game of Thrones, where there's a book or a series of books that you can literally read on to find out what's going to happen, we don't have that.
No, we don't have access to said book. So we're all we're doing is wondering and guessing.
Wondering and guessing. Sounds like another movie to me.
All right, let's wrap this up. I am giving this a platinum pass for perfection for obvious reasons. It's a very good movie. If you like Entourage, then go and heck and see it. It will not be disappointed. If you never heard of Entourage, give it a try. It might inspire you to watch the series. They're all on demand and HBO Go, etc., etc. Who's next?
Well, I'm going to give it a pass. I think it's definitely a decent movie. You know, it had a calm pace about it, which was good towards benefit. You know, you were expecting a little bit more movie stuff out of it, but you know, it was a long episode of the show. Nothing wrong with that. Those guys kept me entertained, and it tugged at the heartstrings. It's a good movie. I'd say watch it.
Platinum Pass for me too. I was not disappointed. I love Entourage. I think that whole concept is something fresh. I know we all know folks like that in some way. You know, a group of guys that just get together, have a blast, do stupid stuff, and you know, be in your youth, you could do the stupid stuff, and you know, you can do all the other things that come along with the stupid stuff, and just at the end of the day, glad you guys have your relationships, and then looking forward to the future. And I think that with that zeal, that's how the movie was played out, and it just kind of captures you when you sit down in those seats and takes you for that long ride. So when it's all done, you felt like you've had some fun for those couple hours. It was just a bunch of fun. So yeah, I loved it. Platinum Pass for me, and I hope they do another one, and certainly they can bring back the series. That would certainly be awesome. Yeah, I like that.
So, perfect movie all around. And no dissenting conflicts, no changes of heart or mind, and you know, the series is true to the roots. So, this is the one true on the Gamer Boss Bronze.
And the informational number 2 backlash.
Oh yeah!
Oh, you ruined it.
I
wanted to say that for the end.
I'm sorry, First Lady of Media Blue.
Okay, that's right. All together now.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Close the car door.
Made by Eli Stone or whatever.
Doug Ellen.
Doug Ellen.